Take some more tea. Your hair needs cutting. Have you guessed the riddle yet? Top of the day to you. Or morning, as it actually is. I believe I've gone down a rabbit hole. Have you guessed the riddle yet? Or the quote, that is? As I enjoy your company, my cat, and all of my friends for a tea party. What might all of this have anything to do with anything? What does anything have anything to do with anything? I'm not crazy. My reality is just different than yours. I am being quite foolish at the moment. Don't be afraid to be a fool. Sometime in your life, you will be the fool. We all play the fool, sooner or later, in big and small ways. Sometimes people take advantage of us. We're blinded in relationships. We only see the positives and ignore all the red flags. Or business ventures, or miscalculated risks and endeavors, and we make a fool of ourselves. In the worst kind of way. When I say it's okay to be a fool, most people are thinking something more akin to this. To being embarrassed, mocked, ridiculed, to say something foolish or silly, to stick out, to be eccentric, or laughed at, to be different, to be outside of the box somehow. Primarily, to stick your foot in your mouth and be embarrassed. Do something awkward. Be awkward. I am the queen for the day. I am actually the Mad Hatter, but I didn't have a top hat. If you guessed that by the intro, good for you. But I have a crown, so I am the queen of being foolish. We all are going to make mistakes. We all are going to be blind to the truth at times. We all are going to believe something is wonderful and everyone else believes to the contrary, and might laugh and might mock. We're all a little strange. No matter how normal a person comes across, everyone has a little woo-hoo, bats in the belfry. Everyone's a little weird. Some people are just better at hiding it. Thank God we have an inner dialogue, instead of audibly hearing everything that we think correct. And imagine if you're followed around 100% of the time by a film crew, seeing all of your idiosyncrasies. We are all the fool. The reason why it's important not to be afraid to be a fool is threefold. Firstly, it boosts your self-confidence and reduces your social anxieties. It's not that you walk in the room with your best foot forward and promptly fall flat on your face that gets you. It's how you respond to that seals the deal. If you fall on your face and you stand up and take a bow and laugh at yourself and laugh at the situation, everyone will laugh with you rather than at you. It's how you handle the embarrassing moments. If you crumble and you crash and you fall in on yourself and you self-denigrate and you shame and beat yourself and you quit and you do all of these things because you've made a foolish, silly, or embarrassing mistake, then other people might feel pity. Other people might mock. If you want to avoid the fallout from the fallout, pick yourself up and carry on with a big old smile and acceptance, because you know what? We all make foolish, silly mistakes. We all embarrass ourselves. We all do it wrong sometimes. And the capacity to handle that and cope with grace and humility and humor will really get you a long way in avoiding social faux pas. It will divert the attention from your foible, from your foolishness, into the fool like a court jester, into entertainment, into resilience, into your capacity to handle life's bumps in the road with a smile on your face, and to humble oneself that you're not perfect all the time. It will loosen you up to stop trying to be perfect all the time. When you're not afraid to make a fool of yourself, when you're not afraid to embarrass yourself or be a little bit ridiculous from time to time, that really stretches the bar for what's acceptable for you. We set these precedents, these appearances for other people about who we are and how we behave and what we're about. And when you're too serious, too perfect in your presentation all the time, that bar becomes a lead weight that you have to carry. And God forbid you make an error. God forbid you slip up. The pressure you put on yourself to present perfect all the time is tremendous. By being a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more silly, a little bit more foolish, you take that bar and you give yourself some breathing room, and it's okay to be a human. It boosts your self-confidence because you see that when you do make a fool of yourself, people don't turn and run away from you. Even if you do get laughed at or mocked or ridiculed, that nothing terrible happened. You survived it, you were alive, you got through it. Where if you get praise and applause and perfection, you don't learn that you're strong enough, that the opinions of others really don't matter in the grand scheme of things as long as you like yourself. You don't build up the strength to cope with making mistakes, and the tiniest little thing that goes wrong, or the tiniest little embarrassment or faux pas in your life, can be traumatic feeling to you. So loosen up, be a fool now and again. The other way that being the fool helps you, besides building your resilience and self-confidence, is your capacity to take risks. Any new venture, a new job, approaching that person you kind of got a crush going for, trying to make friendships, attending that party where there's going to be people and you're gonna have to talk to others, and it may not go well depending on how awkward you are or are not. Anytime you do anything new, there's a risk starting your business. There's a risk that it's going to blow up in your face, it's not going to work out, and it will have been a mistake. Being the fool enables you to grow. It enables you to try because you are not fearful of coming across as a fool, and it improves your self-esteem, lowering the threshold, the weight of trying to be perfect all the time, and allows you to realize that coming across as a fool is not the worst thing in the world. And for those big mistakes, when we get trapped and blinded by relationships that are bad for us and toxic, and we get stuck, we do something really foolish, we learn lessons, and we realize that we're human. We don't have to be perfect all the time. Humans are foolish creatures. We want foolish things. We make foolish choices. We make mistakes, and you learn to accept the fact that you too are human and you are allowed to make wrong choices. Embrace the fun of life, the joy of life, as if you were a child again. Fearlessly, foolishly, unabashedly, unashamed. Be willing to accept without disgrace things sometimes blowing up in your face or coming across a wee bit ridiculous, such as this. Quote of the day, in case you haven't guessed it. Have you guessed the riddle yet? Says the Mad Hatter to Alice. Da, 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 da. Don't be afraid to be a fool. Foolishness will set you free. Your self-esteem, your willingness to try, your willingness to enjoy and indulge in life. Good morning, goodbye. Don't be afraid to be a fool. Especially in the most healthy and beneficial ways possible.